There's a silence that only comes when someone you love is gone. It's not just the absence of their voice. It's the quiet in your heart, the stillness in the kitchen, the untouched mug by the sink. When I lost my partner, I didn't just lose a person. I lost my rhythm. The mornings were the hardest. I'd sit at the edge of the bed wondering what to do with the hours ahead. Everything hurt. Even the sun seemed too bright. But slowly, and I mean very slowly, a small set of gentle habits began to stitch my mornings back together. And over time, those mornings gave me back pieces of myself. If you're hurting too, maybe this story will help you find your rhythm again. After my partner passed away, the mornings became unbearable. Every sunrise felt like a cruel reminder that I had to go on alone. People often talk about grief in terms of stages, but I experienced it more like a fog. I went through the motions, eating, dressing, pretending, but my heart was on pause. The worst part was waking up, that first moment of consciousness, where for a second everything is normal, until you remember, and the weight falls again. I didn't plan a recovery. I wasn't trying to be strong. I was simply trying to breathe. But I remember one morning, I stood in the kitchen, holding a warm cup of tea. No distractions, no tears, just warmth in my hands. That moment became the seed of something bigger. A morning routine, slow, gentle, meaningful, became my way back. It wasn't magic, it didn't erase the pain, but it gave me structure. Something to look forward to. A sense of control in a world that had flipped upside down. What I want to share with you today isn't a solution to grief, but it's a lifeline. My routine, my ritual, my path toward peace. When you lose someone you've shared your life with, your meals, your evenings, your secrets, you don't just grieve the person, you grieve the rhythm, the routine, the small moments that added up to a shared life. For me, mornings were sacred. My partner and I had our rituals. She'd hum a tune while making breakfast. I'd read aloud from the newspaper. Some days we'd argue over whether to make tea or coffee. Most days we'd just smile across the table, silently agreeing that life was good because we had each other. And then one day, I woke up and she wasn't there. At first I didn't even want to get out of bed. I'd stare at the ceiling, hoping to fall back asleep, hoping to avoid the truth for another hour. The house felt cold, too quiet. Every room echoed with memory. Her slippers still sat by the door. The book she was reading lay open on the coffee table. I couldn't bring myself to move any of it. I remember the first week. I skipped meals entirely. I just didn't have the appetite. I barely spoke to anyone. The only interaction I had was the mailman's nod and the occasional text from a worried friend. I shut the curtains and left the TV on for background noise. Not even watching it, just trying to mute the silence. People told me, time will heal, but time alone wasn't doing much. The pain just lingered, a dull, constant pressure in the chest. I realized I needed a framework, not for healing, but for surviving the day. I wasn't aiming to thrive. I just needed something that felt like a rope to hold on to. So I made a list. Not a grand one, just 5 things to do each morning. I didn't know then that this little list would carry me out of the deepest valley of my life. Each habit I added came from listening, not to experts or books, but to what felt comforting to my broken spirit. I observed what moments brought even the faintest relief, and built around them. Sometimes I failed, sometimes I skipped a day, but the list was patient. It waited for me to return, and now, I share them with you. Not as a formula, but as an invitation. Try one, try all. Let the morning carry you gently back to life. Step 1. Waking up at the same time every day. In grief, sleep is unpredictable. Some nights I barely closed my eyes. Others, I overslept, and woke with guilt. There was no rhythm, so I chose a time 7:30 a.m. Not too early, not too late. The first few days were hard. I wanted to stay curled under the covers forever. but I set a gentle alarm. I placed my slippers right by the bed. I told myself just stand up. That's all. Within a week, my body began to adjust. Waking up at the same time wasn't about discipline. It was about creating a small island of stability. It was like telling myself every morning, you are still here, you are still needed. This small act, getting up with the sun, started anchoring my day. Eventually I started opening the blinds right away, letting in light, saying yes to the world again, even if only a whisper of yes. Step 2. Drinking warm lemon water. This was my partner's favorite ritual. A simple glass of warm water with lemon. She swore by it. Every morning, she'd squeeze half a lemon, swirl it with hot water, and sip it while watching the birds. After she passed, I avoided it. It reminded me too much of her. That steaming mug felt like a ghost. But one day, I made it, quietly, alone. I sat at the table, hands wrapped around the cup, letting the warmth seep in. I didn't cry. I just sat. It wasn't about the health benefits, though there are many. It was about connection, about choosing to honor her memory, not avoid it. Now, every sip reminds me I carry parts of her within me. It reminds me that love doesn't vanish with death. It lingers in the small rituals. It lives in the way we care for ourselves. I start my day grounded in memory, and in step 3, gentle movement. I wasn't ready for intense exercise. Grief lives in the body, and mine felt heavy, but I started with 5-minute stretches, just reaching, breathing, swaying to soft music. Eventually I added walks. At first, just to the mailbox, then around the block. Now, some mornings I walk for 20 minutes, sometimes more, sometimes less. Movement woke up not just my body but my soul. It reminded me I could still move forward, literally and metaphorically, and with movement came mindfulness. I began noticing small joys, a blooming flower, bird song, the kindness of a neighbor's wave. Grief makes your world small, movement expands it again. The step 4, writing in a morning journal. I bought a notebook with no intention. I just needed somewhere to put the words crowding my mind. Thoughts I couldn't say aloud, fears I couldn't face. At first the entries were messy, angry, sad, confused, but with time, the pages softened. I began writing things I was grateful for, memories I wanted to preserve. I wrote to her, sometimes, as if she could still read it. Journaling gave my grief a voice, and gave me permission to feel. Now, each morning I write one sentence. Today, I will choose peace. Even if I don't feel peaceful, I write it. And strangely, peace follows. Sometimes for a minute, sometimes for hours, but it always arrives. Step 5. Lighting a candle, and sitting in silence. This is the final and most sacred part of my routine. I light a small candle. I sit for 5 minutes. I close my eyes. No phone, no music, just breath and presence. Sometimes I whisper her name, sometimes I just cry, but most days I sit in gratitude, for the love we shared, for the fact that I got to experience it. That candle flame has become my lighthouse. It burns softly, quietly, but consistently, like the love that still lives inside me. I wish I could tell you this routine erased the pain. It didn't, but it gave me something better. It gave me life after loss. One morning, I think it was a Tuesday, I realized I had hummed while folding laundry. It startled me. That small moment felt like proof. I was still capable of joy. Another day, I caught myself smiling at the sunrise, and then there was the time I made a new friend on my walk. Just a simple hello that turned into coffee and conversation. These weren't grand awakenings, they were whispers, but I heard them. Grief doesn't disappear, but it changes shape. It becomes part of your rhythm, just like joy, just like love. My morning routine didn't heal me. It reminded me that I could still be healed, And in a world that felt broken, that reminder was everything. I know the emptiness that lingers long after the casseroles stop arriving and the calls grow quiet. Grief is a journey that can't be rushed, but you don't have to wander without a map. This routine isn't perfect. It won't work for everyone, but maybe, just maybe, it can be the start of something gentle for you. You don't need to do all 5 steps. You don't need to feel strong. You just need to begin. Make your tea, light your candle, write one honest sentence, take one small walk. Start there. Let the morning carry you. If this story touched your heart, I invite you to share it with someone who might need it. Grief is universal, but healing doesn't have to be lonely. In the comments, tell me, what's one thing that helps you through the morning? Let's create a circle of comfort, a place where healing begins one sunrise at a time. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more stories about aging, healing, and rediscovering joy after loss. We're in this together.